Hello and welcome to Computer Class. My name is Dave, and today we're talking about how to create a navbar using HTML Part 2. Now, in my Part 1 episode of how to create a navbar, I used just HTML and it looked pretty bad. Obviously, when you just use HTML, it's just a markup language. You have to have a little bit of CSS in order to create a really nice looking navbar. So I want to create a nicer navbar today and show you actually how it's done, and hopefully it will be a responsive, decent navbar. And so what I've done is I've taken the same project that I used in part 1 and just kind of deleted everything in there. And then I have a folder here which has these 5 folders in it, and then a logo as well. Okay, so index and a logo. And that's kind of where I'm starting from, basically from scratch. Okay, so what I'm going to do off the bat is I am going to create a navbar section. And what I like to do is give myself a message here. So I know I'm starting the navbar section. And then I'm going to say UL. And pardon me if you see me looking over, that's just my notes that I have there to make sure I type the exact thing that I've already written. All right, li, and inside the li we are going to have a tag with an href, which is set to none at the moment. Okay, and then inside of that we're going to place our logo. So it's going to be img src is equal to, and we're going to target the image folder with the logo. And then we're going to close that off. And that should be good for the first line there. Second, we're going to do an li, and then we're going to close that. We're going to put an anchor tag inside of that as well with an href, again, equal to nothing. And you could put another, if you wanted to make an actual working navigation, you could put a page reference in there, because I talked about relative URLs in another episode. If you didn't see that, go back and watch that. And I'm going to write the word about here in this link. Okay, and then now that you have this, you can basically just copy paste 3 times. And we'll just do services and pictures. Okay. And I mean, you could write whatever you want in that spot. It's not a big deal. All right, now let's do some content for the page. And really, I'm going to give a message here for myself. And again, as a developer, you should always make messages for yourself. Give myself a div section for a division tag. And I'm going to do an h1 and call it navigation bar fixed to top, just so you know what it is, what we're doing today. And then I'll give it h2 and explain scroll to see it work. And then I'm going to put some filler text in here in a paragraph. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type Ipsum or Ipsum text generator, Ipsum generator, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's this one. Nope, not that one. It's this one right here, ipsum.com. And I'll link that down in the description. And you want to generate 5 paragraphs. And let's just grab the first one here. Copy paste. I'm going to drop that in between, and then I'll just copy this entire section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. That way we have enough scrollable text there, and that's probably way overkill, but you get the point. All right, so we have all of our HTML written there, and now we need to style it. So I'm going to go up into the head section, and again, you could easily link this in using an external style sheet, but since I'm only writing one web page, it's not really necessary for me to do that. So again, that's why I'm doing this. Okay, and in this meta section here, what we're going to do is we're going to give a meta with a viewport with a name, sorry, equal to viewport, and content is equal to width equal to device dash width, comma, initial scale, making sure I'm spelling everything right. That's my biggest issue. Dot 0. All right, and then close off that tag. So that should be correct there. Make sure you spell everything correctly because that happens to be the biggest downfall of coders. And I've already misspelled something right there. Nope, that's correct. Never mind. Forget it. Think. All right. Let's add in a style tag. All right, pop that apart, and then we'll target the body tag first. And this is all CSS from this point forward. I can't emphasize that enough. If I look at my project right now, okay, this is what it looks like. It's very ugly. And so our hope is that we can fix all of that, okay, using CSS. Now, what I'm going to do to speed the process up here is I'm actually going to hit this little generator button. What it's going to do is create a web page for me, and it's going to constantly update as I save. So that's going to make this whole process easier. All right, so now I'm going to target the body tag, and I'm going to use the curly brackets and to give it a margin equal to 0. Okay, and you can see it automatically updating right there. All right, now I'm going to target the UL, or the unordered list, and I'm going to do list-style. There we go. And I'm also going to do -type, and we'll set it to none. And then we'll do margin, and we'll set that to 0. Oops, I set that to 1. And we'll set our padding to 0 as well. Why not? All right. So then we have overflow, and we'll set that to hidden. And we'll set our background color. Again, I'm using the arrow keys. That's how things are usually done. To a hash F3, F3, F3. And then you can see that's updating there. Position, we will set that to fixed. You can see already an update there. Top, we'll give it a 0. And then, oops, I messed that up. And then we will do a width and set that to 100%. There we go. All right, so now everything is working there on the UL. All right, let's target the UL and then the LI of the web page. Okay, and in the UL LI, we're going to float left and see what that does there. And you'll notice some things have moved around as well. UL, LI, and now A. Target that next. And then we will choose display block. And then color, give that a color because that will make it look better. With hashtag 666, not scary there, right? Text align, we'll throw that in there. Make sure it's centered. And we will do padding. And this time we're going to do 2 different paddings. We'll do 16 pixels as well. And set that like that. And then do text decoration. We'll turn that off to none as well. Okay, so it's starting to look a little bit better at this point, as you can see. All right, so now let's do the hover feature. So ULLI A and do a colon, and this is more of a state that we're targeting now. We're actually saying that when the A tag is hovered upon, this is what is going to happen. So background color, let's change that and say that when we hover upon it, we want to make it hash DDD and end that as well. Okay, now it should be available. Yes, see the little hover feature at this point. All right, and then we want to make an active class. So ULLI A active. And this is if you wanted to use this, I'm just throwing that in there. You could make the first, if you wanted to take out this, you could make the first one active. It's just featuristic. So you could do color white. And background color. Again, this is if you want to use it. I'm probably not going to use it, but I'm just throwing it in here. 7 and FFC is left. Okay. So that's you could use an active class if you wanted to have the first one a different color or shade or something like that. Again, I'm not going to target, I'm not going to use it. If you want to make the first one active, if you want to just throw the active class down in here, or the active state down in here, you could do that if you wanted to. Okay, that's what that's for. All right, let's target the LI again, and the A and the IMG, because we have this image here that we need to kind of change around. Let's go margin with auto and a width of 15 pixels. That'll really fix things up a bit. And then a height of 15 pixels. And oh, that's it for that section. All right, and then we can do the div container. Let's do that as well. And the padding is going to be set to 20 pixels. And also the margin on the top, as you can see, it's too high up. We're going to set that to 180 pixels. All right. So that should be good for that. Save it. And as you can see, that works out just fine right there. I'm sorry, not 180 pixels. I did that really wrong. 30 pixels. 30 pixels. I was like, wow, that's really high. Messed up. All right, so there's one last thing we really need to do, and it's so you'll notice this is resizable. It resizes pretty well. However, if we were to stick it on a mobile device, it kind of jacks it all up a little bit. And so there's a way to fix that. Notice these are all clickable links in the moment. The logo's a little small. You could play with that and fix it. But we need to create a media query using CSS in order to fix the whole mobile first thing. So we're going to say at media screen and then in parentheses target the max dash width set to 600 pixels, and then give the curly brackets. And inside of this, we're going to target the UL and the LI, and again, do the curly brackets to create another layer. And we will float this on none when it is that small. And now, if you notice, I've put it that small so you can kind of see how it's working. So float with none, and the div has got to behave a little bit differently as well, because it is up too high now, because this margin and everything, and the whole nav section is now longer, so you kind of have to target that. So let's change the margin on the top to 180 pixels. All right, and so I think that should be everything. Should be working at this point. As you can see, we've put in, I wouldn't say too much CSS, just a little bit to create this nice little flickering navigation bar. As you resize the navigation down, and when it gets to the mobile friendly version, it really resizes. And again, I think the last step to be done is to create the About, Services, and Pictures pages and link them in right here. And you would just simply stick those into the pages folder right here and name them whatever page they are, about.html, services.html, and pictures.html. And that's really it. That's the entire thing. That's how you create a nav bar, a fully functioning navigation bar, one that actually scrolls. And so hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully you've learned something today. Like the video as well and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I will see you in the next video.